The March update for Power BI is here, and there's one change this month that you're definitely going to want to know about. This is also dropping as we're starting the Microsoft Fabric Community Conference and the Microsoft SQL Community Conference. And if you are attending, be sure to come say hi to myself and the rest of the Fabric and SQL teams. We'd love to interact with you. Along with several new features and improvements across reporting, modeling, and Copilot, there's also a deprecation notice coming to Power BI Desktop starting this month. That could affect how you connect to files. For all the details this month, scan that QR code on the screen to jump straight to the monthly blog. And in that blog, you'll also see a link to the announcements blog that Arun Ulog posted tied to the conference. I'm Adam Saxton. This is the Microsoft Power BI update for March 2026. Let's begin. This month's GA features focus on something we've been hearing a lot from customers, taking action directly from Power BI and working faster with large data models. First, Translytical task flows are now generally available. This allows users to update records, trigger workflows, or write data back to systems, all directly from within a report. No context switching, no leaving the report experience. On the modeling side, Direct Lake for OneLake is now generally available as well, bringing high-performance semantic models directly on top of open data in OneLake, helping reduce refresh complexity while delivering faster performance on large data sets. And finally, for organizations using IBM Netezza, the Netezza ODBC driver is now generally available, providing a more reliable and supported path forward as Power BI transitions away from the embedded Simba driver. Now let's talk about what's new in public preview. A big theme for this month is authoring flexibility and customization. In reporting, we're introducing modern visual defaults and theme improvements. This brings a refreshed, fluent, aligned base theme with important typography, layout spacing, and visual consistency, helping reports look cleaner right out of the box. There are also new capabilities like custom totals and series label leader lines, giving report authors more control over how information is displayed. On the modeling side, TMDL View in web modeling introduces a new code-first modeling experience directly in the browser, making it easier for developers to script and manage semantic model metadata without leaving the web experience. That's for all you Mac users out there. And everyone else. We're also continuing to expand DAX user-defined functions, which help improve reuse and maintainability for complex DAX logic. And finally, Copilot gets some reusability improvements this month, including a refreshed pane experience and an improved feedback flow that allows diagnostics to be shared with feedback to help improve the system. One quick note before we jump into demos, starting in April, the old file picker experience in Power BI Desktop will be deprecated. The newer file picker, which has been in preview for a while now, will become the default experience. There's no action required on your part, but it's good to be aware of this change as it rolls out, especially if you hadn't enabled that preview. It might come as a jolt, but just be aware, it's headed your way. All right, enough of all my talking. Let's see some of the demos.
Let me show you a situation you've probably ran into before. I've got this table showing the number of customers per category. Everything looks good, except the total at the bottom might not be what you expect if you're thinking about the total as the sum of the rows. To be clear, Power BI is doing exactly what it should here. It's evaluating the measure in the total row across the filter context. But sometimes what you want is simply the sum of the values you're looking at. That's where custom totals comes in. I'll right-click the column, choose Customize Total Calculation, and here I can pick exactly how I want the total to behave. In this case, I'll just choose Sum. And just like that, the total updates to reflect the sum of the displayed rows. The little indicator in the total cell tells me this column is using a custom total. Use the data format settings to customize the display. If you're curious what Power BI is doing behind the scenes, here's a peek. It hides the original column and adds a visual calculation that applies to the aggregation you selected. And yes, you can edit it if you want to customize it further. If you ever want to go back to the default behavior, it's just as simple. Just simply right-click the column or right-click in the build pane and choose Reset to Default. This will remove the custom calculation and restore the original total.
Let's take a look at the new modern visual defaults. I have a report here that shows how visuals now look with our updated defaults. You can see right away the visuals have a cleaner, more modern appearance, But let's dive into some of the specific improvements. Let's start with bar charts. In the Format pane, you'll now see presets that quickly change the look and feel. Here, we can add in data labels, which remove the axis, or you can return back to using the axis without the data labels. And the same goes for column charts. Presets make it easy to apply consistent styling. So you'll see that most of the charts will have this option to have data labels or the default style with the axis showing. Line charts also now come in with smooth lines by default. So the presets here will also not only allow you to do the data labels, but also revert back to straight line if you preferred that spikier look. And the straight line has both options for the default with axes showing and data labels off, and the data label showing instead of the axis. Area charts also have the same options as the line chart, giving you control over how you want these to look and feel kind of consistently across visuals. And the same goes for combo charts and ribbon charts as well. But now let's look at filtering. Here below we have the slicer, which has a number of configurations shown in the bottom section. But let's look at the new presets available. The style presets here are going to match not only the style, but also the mode. So the default will come in with a drop-down. We have tile and list. And whenever you pick any of these, it will style and change the mode in the same step. Now with the slicer during the preview period here, when you add a new slicer to the report page, it should come in as a drop-down mode by default. In the case that it doesn't, such as in this example, you'll notice it came in with the styling for drop-down, but is in a list format. You can simply reset the visual to default to make sure it gets into that drop-down mode. And as usual, just change it to whichever style you prefer. And finally, buttons. Notice how buttons now actually look like buttons. And they have a number of presets for you to choose from on the styling options, which are all shown on this page. The default kind of looks like just a dark button. We also have outline, transparent, and icon and text if you want to show both of those elements on a button. And navigators down below also come in as button and tab presets available to you. Another improvement, new pages now come in at the new page size. The old page size was the 720 height, and now we're coming in at the 1080 height on new pages. And those of you creating custom report themes can now specify what size new pages come in on the report as well. So let's see how this looks when we're actually building a report with new visuals. Now I want to break down this bar chart further. We can add the discount band to show how the units have been sold by discount band. We can try the legend, or we can even try the small multiples. And you'll notice the default look of small multiples now aligns better with the categorical axis by default. But now, what did this all look like before? So let's turn off the preview to see. You can go to the File, Options and Settings, then Options, and choose the Preview features to find the Modern Visual Defaults feature. You can uncheck it to turn off and click OK. These same steps work to turn it on initially, and just go and check the box instead. Now this requires a restart, so let's reopen the report. You'll notice I'm still using the updated base theme. It won't update until you explicitly reset it, and that's how base theme or default theme works even before this update. To revert to the previous look, we'll go to View, Customize, Current Theme, and click Update when it specifies that the base theme is different from what it was expecting with this release. Now the existing report is reverted to the previous look. You can always undo to get the previous base theme back. Another way to clear the custom theme and go back to the default is to use the tile from the theme dropdown. This is handy for those editing in the web to know, as they won't have a customized current theme. And finally, let's take a look at what this all looked like before our last big update in 2018. So now you can see the full progression.
With TMDL on the web, you can now edit your semantic models using code directly in your browser. With this preview, developers can script, modify, and apply changes to model objects using the tabular model definition language, without the need to switch to desktop or download model files. By simply dragging and dropping into the editor, you can get code-level visibility into all the metadata of your semantic model. You can either inspect your semantic model as a whole, or you can select a specific table, let's say for example the customer table, or you can view your relationships, your measures, your expressions. You can even see details that aren't visible in the standard UI. For example, the lakehouse our direct lake semantic model is built on. TMDL is also great for boosting productivity. Let's say, for example, that I want to organize my measures into two display folders, one for the measures related to sales and another one for the measures related to profitability. By doing Alt-click, I can multi-select all the lines that I want to edit at once. For example, let's do it for all the measures related to sales. As I start typing, I can see how intelligence kicks in to help me write valid TMDL faster. Let's now do the same for our profitability measures. Once I've done my changes, I can preview them by clicking on Preview. Once I've reviewed all the changes and I'm ready to apply them to my model, I can switch to Edit mode and select Apply. If we now go to our sales table, we can see how our display folders have been created successfully. Another great use case of TMDL View is reusing semantic model objects. Let's say, for example, that I already have a calendar table that I want to reuse in my model. I can just copy the TMDL script and paste it back into TMDL View. Selecting Preview, we can see how we will be creating this new table in our semantic model. Try using TMDL View for your next semantic model updates.
Translytical task flows are now generally available. This feature lets you write data back to Fabric databases directly from your Power BI report. You can update, add, or even delete records, and also call external APIs for custom automation. For example, here I selected a product model and updated its description. Now in the formatting pane, you can see that I'm using a user data function along with an input slicer to enable this write back capability. I'm also using a measure to capture the product model that I had selected. This opens up scenarios like data entry, corrections, annotations, and even triggering workflows in other systems, all from within your report. We're excited to share with you some exciting enhancements we've made to series labels for line and area charts. Here I have my line chart and I can turn on the series labels. And now I have the option to also include leader lines. So leader lines really help differentiate which line belongs to which label. We have included a number of customization options, including the width, the style, and color of these leader lines to make sure whatever works best with your report is available for you. Not only that, but you can also increase the offset available to bring in more labels when appropriate. Not only can you add these leader lines, the series labels themselves can now be formatted to have a background which matches the series color, and also the text can also match the series colors here with additional options to increase the font size or bold or italic. Not only that, can also show on the left side instead of the right side, and you'll notice when on the left side there, the leader line will go all the way to the first marker and show exactly where it is starting. Selecting on any of the series line will select a line and highlight it with the markers shown. This is also especially helpful when you're using zoom sliders. So as you slide, if you stop halfway, you can always see where you are to the next marker. And highlighting will show that marker very clearly just by simply selecting on the series labels.
Before we wrap up, it's time for our community member spotlight. I love this part. Every month, we highlight someone who's leaning in, helping others, sharing knowledge, and making the Power BI and Fabric community stronger. This month, we're spotlighting Freeman Z. Freeman Z joined the Power BI community in 2022. They have received more than 900 plus kudos, authored over 750 plus solutions, and have over 2,900 plus replies. They're not a super user from a badge perspective, but that's a lot of work. And fun fact, along with being a member of the community, Freeman Z is a father of 3 boys. All right, that's amazing. So from all of us, thank you for everything you do for this community. If you have questions about any of the features, drop them in the comments below. We're always watching and we love seeing what you're building. For all the details, scan that QR code on the screen or hit the link in the description below to check out the monthly update blog. And if you're not already there, join us over at the Fabric community site. It's the best place to stay connected and keep learning. Thanks for watching, keep being awesome, and we'll see you in the next video.